In the previous video, we saw how a user can send a marker using the sonar tool immediately after they experience a problem. And in the case that we saw that the application for the Contoso University had experienced some hang states. In fact, we'd marked two particular hangs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at those trace files that were collected using TribeLab Workbench. Now, up here it still says Trace Matcher, which was the name that we started with for this particular tool. But this is the Workbench tool. So I'm going to show you how we can analyze it quickly using Workbench, but I'm also going to show you how you can also analyze it without using Workbench. That will become quite apparent once we open the trace files. So let's load up the files. Now I've got files for 3 different days here, 17th, 18th and 19th of April. And the user reported to me that they experienced the problem on the 19th of April. And as they don't start work until 9 in the morning, it's fairly safe to say that the problem would have started in any trace file that has entries from 9 o'clock onwards. So this one starts at 8:59:56 on the 19th. So let's take all of those for the whole of the 19th of April up until, I don't know, sometime around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we'll open those files quickly. And now we choose the marker option. And you can see that we've pulled these files that are selected over here into the marker, find marker mechanism. And we simply click on this button over here. And it starts to process the file data. So what it's doing is it's going through each trace file looking for either sonar markers or also markers that are just formed from ICMP echo requests. So you can see that it's found 2 markers, marker number 1 and marker number 2, which is good because that's what we had. Now there's a bug here that I discovered while I was creating this video. This timestamp is actually 1 hour ahead of the actual time of the reported problem. Now I think this is something to do with double accounting for daylight saving time. But anyway, we'll crack on and fix this bug, but it doesn't stop us from actually using the tool. So what I can do here is I can simply right click and show the particular frame that I'm interested in, which is the marker frame in Wireshark, in the correct file at the correct point in the file. So I click that. And there you go. Wireshark loads up and here's our marker. So what we now know is that the user's problem happened immediately prior to this marker. So it's somewhere just before this point in this traffic here. That gives us a really quick way of finding the precise point we're interested in the trace file. Now I said that I'd show you how to find the marker without using Workbench, and as I've just lost where it is, we can actually test that out right now. So I'll jump back to the beginning of the file and I simply do a find, and I'm going to find for the marker string, which was in this case was A7 if you remember, and I think it had question mark M equals 1. Now we need that as a string, and we do a find, and it jumps us straight back to the marker. So that's how you can find a marker in a trace file. Simply use the unique string that you put into the sonar marker and just search for that unique string. So let's now complete the picture. I'm going to close this trace file and let's look at the second marker. And you can see it's taken us straight to the point again. So what I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to use the marker to show me where the problem has occurred, and then I'm going to do the analysis prior to that point to find out what went wrong.